Hello and welcome to Introduction to Pictoblox using Python. I am Florence Nabenje, a facilitator with Makerspace Ghana. In this video, we'll be going through a simple project, which is to program a loan calculator for someone who wants to know how much he or she will owe a bank he has borrowed money from after 1 year. Okay, so to start with, we'll be using Python in this project. So to start with, we currently have block interface. So I'd like us to first of all switch to the Python coding interface, and then we will take it up from there. So we click on Python and then we press on go ahead. Great. So here we are. So what do we do first? So before we even start coding, we know that there are some things we will need when we talk about calculation of loan. We will need to know the interest, then we'll add it to the total amount the person took, and then we'll get the total amount the person is paying back. So our formula for our interest is going to be principal, which is the amount the person borrowed from the bank, plus the interest rate of the bank, and then multiply by the interest rate of the bank, and then we'll multiply that one by the period, the duration. In our case, it's going to be 1 year. Great. So to do this, we first of all have to define a function. And in Python, to define a function, we use def. And then we want to name our function as loan calculator. So define loan calculator. Great. And now we already mentioned that we will need some arguments, which are principal, we will need rate, and we will need time. Great. Okay. But then when we are coding in Python, to end this function we have defined, we end with a colon. Great. And then we go to our next line. And now we want to declare some variables, okay? So we are talking about simple interest, and we are talking about the total amount. So first of all, let's declare a variable called simple underscore interest. Let's take note, we can't bring in a space between the text for our variable name. So we use an underscore to separate the simple and the interest. And then our simple interest is going to be our principal multiplied by just to make this correction, our principal multiplied by the rate and multiplied by time. So this is a variable we've declared for our simple interest, but we are not done. So we go ahead to now look at the formula for the total amount the person is paying back to the bank. So we declare another variable called total amount and underscore amount, and then that will be equal to our principal plus our simple interest. Great. Sorry, so mostly our rate is given in percentages, and so to convert that to decimal or normal values, we have to divide all this by 100, and then the effect will go through. Okay, and after this, since we are calculating for the total amount, we would like to return the total amount at the end. If not, when we finish and run our code, we won't get any value being returned, or it will return none to us. So we return total amount. Okay, great. So now we want to take, the next thing to do is to declare or to take in arguments or inputs for our principal, our rate, and our time. And so to do this, first of all, we work with the principal. And so to do this, we will simply use our sprite function. So we just say sprite dot input. Then this will be a string. So we can say enter the principal. And then we now declare our principal to be equal to, okay. And before we continue, let's also know that the principal can be a floating number. It can be an integer. So to be on a safer side, we will declare our principal as a floating number. So we will say float, then sprite dot answer. What we are simply doing here is, okay, after we run all this code, and the system should ask the user or the person who has taken the money from the bank to enter the amount he or she took from the bank. And then when that is entered, the amount is going to be stored as the principal amount, and we are storing it as a floating point value, and that will be our answer. Great. So we are required to do this for all other. Let's remove the indents so I don't have issues. We are doing this for all our other arguments we used. So we will have sprite dot input, and then we are going to ask the user to enter the rate. Sorry, our sprite is wrong. Okay. And then once again, we are storing that amount that will be entered as rate. And we say rate is equal to a float, then sprite dot answer. Then we repeat the same thing for time. So sprite dot input, enter the duration. And then time is equal to float sprite dot answer. Okay. So we've declared the variables for our principal, for our rate, and our time. And then we've given opportunity for the user to enter their input. Okay. So basically, our calculation has been done, but then we want to display this, and we want our sprite, which is Toby, to help us say the amount. So we'll use sprite dot say function. And what do we want the sprite to say? So sprite dot say, and then we have our string. What is it going to say? So say the total amount is great. So when we get here, now we have to call the function, or we have to call our function loan calculator, which is storing all our arguments, and then the total amount as well to be this. But we do want to join this string with another string. We want to join it so with another string. So we use the plus sign. The plus sign is used to concatenate or to join two strings together in Python. So we use our plus sign, and then we bring in string. What we are simply doing here is that Toby is supposed to say something, and the sprite cannot say floating point values or integers. So the sprites, in order to make it easy for the sprite to mention our answer for us, we are going to convert our total amount to a string. So we say string, we convert this to string, and then we bring in our function, which we declared earlier, which is loan calculator. So loan calculator. And then we add the arguments. So we have principal, we have rate, and we have time. Okay, so we are here. But then one other thing we'll be adding is we want to be able to regulate or to measure or to give a time in which we want our answer to be displayed on the stage. So we put 3 here. So 3 here means be on the stage for 3 seconds. Okay. So at this stage, we will go ahead to run our code and see what we will get. So we run. Okay. So we've been asked to enter the principal. So let's say our principal is 5,000. Press enter. Then we are asked to enter our rate. So let's say our rate is 15%. So 15. Press enter. Then we are asked to enter the duration. The duration is 1 year. So let's use months. So let's put 12 months. So the total amount is 140,000. Okay, so basically that is what we go through to be able to design a loan calculator for someone who owes a bank, for the person to know how much is due at the end of the year. Thank you so much.